Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Library Board of Trustees meeting for April 10th.
Would you just chat them and make sure that we know what we're supposed to be doing and what they're supposed to be doing? Maybe
Yes.
we have to hit record and not them because we opened the meeting. I don't know. If you speak gibberish to them, that would definitely be effective.
I've been typing all day, so I can't type them. I got it though. So we'll just keep going. Welcome, everyone. Happy Library Week. Very exciting.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the foundation thank you event.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll see some of you there. And then in a couple of weeks, Holly is doing a poetry reading.
Yeah, at Illuminate Vermont.
At
which
Illuminate.
We'll talk about during
At
the
Com
committee
Squad.
time too, yeah.
Awesome. Hi. I think you can kick that.
What Kevin?
No, Kevin.
Kevin.
But you should also hit
Oh,
record.
there you go. I didn't realize that. See?
Okay, now.
We're all travel. It's great.
I am now hitting record. Record to the cloud.
No, to this. Well, we used to do it to this computer. I don't know.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so we are now recording. So we'll just say happy Library Week again. And very excited about some events that Holly will talk about during Com Squad overview. I wanted to let you know that Sue will not be here tonight because she's on a little field trip at another library looking at how they do their friends' library book sale. So she's sad to miss us, but hopefully we'll report some fun things. I also wanted to say I added a quick note to my agenda saying that we would talk about the open letter to the state leaders that Jennifer sent me. We're actually going to table that. I read it a little bit more and consulted with Anne because Anne is my go-to. And I feel that the letter is a little bit bigger, and as we are not as we are as we are appointed by the city, I think that we need to wait for that. So I hope everybody is okay with. I know everybody's not, I'm sorry.
I know. Do we want to write something different? Is that something that we want to talk about? If we feel that this is too something, do we want to do something else alternatively?
We could talk about that.
We probably agenda.
So let's add.
A way to respond in getting the environment.
So let's add an agenda. Let's do an agenda item after. Before other business. Is that okay, Donna?
Yep.
Towards the end. Excellent. And then Kelly's farewell is on Tuesday. I hope that people will be there. If anybody would love to help me out and grab flowers at Trader Joe's, I have a vase, but no flowers.
I can do that.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
So I can go.
Beautiful.
What time is it? It goes till 6?
4:30 to 6. The public is invited at 5 for various reasons, but you all can come at 4. I opened it up at 4:30, so people in this building who leave at 4:30 can come.
Perfect. Thank you. We have no public or extra fun people, so I'm hoping that means we have no comments or questions.
I think Lori counts as the public.
No, she.
Or fun people.
She does not.
Well, I mean, I know she is an employee and yet.
Okay.
It's still fun.
So you can You are fun. I didn't mean it that way, but you're on the agenda. You're on the agenda.
Oh,
so
that's
that
true. I
means-
see.
So we'll get to me.
So we're
You're
gonna get to you.
official.
You're official. So I mean, fun other than Rory, who will be presenting. Let's do approval of the minutes from the March 13th meeting. They were with the agenda. Second? Excellent. All those in favor? Any opposed? No, that passes. Amazing. Okay. So, oh, I wish I could put myself on mute and just say, Donna, I did this backwards again. All right, so I'm going to introduce Rory, who's going to tell us great things about what she does. Which she,
She and he, both
She
are
and he,
good.
okay.
I like to have them switched as often as possible. I think it's very binary breaking to use both.
love it, okay.
So,
So tell us about yourself, what you do here.
hello, my name is Rory. As I said, I use he, she pronouns. I am the circulation specialist. So I assist Sue with all things circulation. I am in charge of overdues and ordering supplies and other little things.
Helping
here
the
and there.
public.
Yes, helping the public.
Yeah, that's a pretty big piece of your
Yes.
job, yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to know?
When did you start?
Oh, I started in November, beginning of
Okay.
November, so I'm coming up on my 6 months. Yes, please.
We will. And while we're introducing ourselves, you can do double duty and think about like the coolest thing that you have seen while you're here. Okay, so I'm Stacy, I'm the chair, the trustee.
We don't need time to answer.
No, we won't make you do that.
I would suggest you also give a little context, either to your personal or professional life, just because
sorry.
it's kind of interesting.
It is. So I am the chair of the trustees and I have been the chair for several years. I am also a prospect management supervisor at UVM Medical Center, and I work with the fundraising team to raise money for the medical center, the College of Medicine, College of Nursing and Health Sciences. So, and in my spare time, I read books and babysit my neighbors.
There you go. So you know me, I'm Jennifer. And I'm a grandmother, and again, this July, our kids, the grandkids will be coming to stay with us for 3 weeks, so you will have a chance to meet.
Hi, Rory. I'm Donna. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the secretary for the board and have been doing this now, I think, for 5 years. I work at Champlain College in the Office of Accessibility.
My alma mater,
Oh, awesome. What year did you graduate?
2019.
Nice, right before COVID.
Yes.
I have done different jobs at Champlain, but this is what I'm doing right now with student success. So, good.
I'm Ted Linsky, he pronouns, I am the vice chair as well as the treasurer. We'll talk about it in a minute, but I know you've sent some emails about old debt. It's something that the treasurer and the finance committee will be looking at.
Awesome.
So I may set up some time with you, but I'll be talking about that today with the board, so I appreciate the work you've done in advance of that. Retired manufacturing director of operations, so I ran large chemical manufacturing plants, so I'm retired from that. I'm an avid reader and like to travel a lot, so that's my plans.
Hey, I'm Whitney Freisinger, she pronouns. I am new to the board this year, so started in the summer. Actually relatively new to South Burlington as well. This is our third winter in Burlington. Yeah, I moved here from Kentucky. I have 2 small kids.
I'd forgotten that.
I know people always, why, like, how did you do that? But yeah, super, we love it here, love South Burlington, have 2 small kids, so we spend a lot of time here, reading adult books and kid books, do it all.
I'm Teresa Ireland. I use pronouns. Current day job is IT project manager with the state of Vermont. I also used to work in circulation at UVM. Margin. Which means that I take credit for Teresa as well. All the members I'm taking credit for. So anyway, I'm Marjorie Rod, and I work in circulation with the Teresa actually trained me. Yeah, good times.
Was very action.
Oh, we did, that's nice. Yeah, see, there came out roaring right out of the gate.
That's your complete day one.
Yeah, exactly. It's a long, it's not that interesting a story. Yeah, so we've been in South Burlington for a good 25, 26 years. All of my kids have grown up here, so super proud of the education that they got and feel very embedded in the community and just want to make it better and make sure that other kids who follow their path have the same education access to the same services. Super important.
Marjorie was
Sure.
one of the people on the school side when we were at a combined library in the high school.
This is so great. I'm enjoying it.
I know, right?
I'm Anne Malone. I have lawyer brain. I went to law school. I've been writing, and updating this legal treatise for 25 years. I have no clients, which is the best way to be a lawyer. Yeah, I've been in South Burlington a long time. And some people know I just got 2 self-care kittens.
Ooh, nice.
Oh.
There we go. I don't know what that means.
They're kidding, they take care of, it's her self-care project.
In the world that I do, they're emotional support animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was National Self-Care Day, isn't that Saturday, so yeah. Little factoid for you. Hi Rory, Rebecca Stasi, nice to meet you. Just sort of, I think we joined around the same time, to the Board of Trustees and have been involved with the Communications Committee, sometimes known as the Comm Squad, often known, and I live in South Burlington, obviously, and I currently work at a family-run wholesale floral supply company, which is very fun to be surrounded by beautiful flowers all the time.
My name is Holly Painter. I use all the pronouns, and this crew's gotten very good at dealing with ambiguity. Is you all feeling good about that?
Thank you for helping.
I'm an English professor at UDM, and I am the chair of Comm Squad.
Can I see if I remember everybody? Stacy, Jennifer, Donna, Ted, Whitney, Teresa, Marjorie, Anne, Rebecca, Holly.
Oh, man. That is so helpful to be at the CERT desk with somebody. I mean, that's incredible. I did not know you had that party trick up your sleeve.
Super.
I am pretty face blind though, so if I see you out of the context in which you're sitting right now, I might not recognize you.
Well, there's one cool thing now that we know about Rory.
I have an excellent memory. It does help me out a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So a cool thing since you've been here, and then maybe something that we can do to be helpful to you?
Okay, a cool thing since I've been here, I was so focused on remembering people's names that I forgot about the second.
That's okay. It's not supposed to be a trick, so if there's something else that you'd like to share, it's okay.
I think a cool thing since I've started here is that everyone has been super welcoming and supportive and nice. I came from a workplace that was not so nice, so it has been really wonderful and refreshing to be here. I'm very excited. And in terms of helping me out, I don't know, maybe next time you see me, say, hi, we met at the board meeting.
We'll definitely do that. We'd like to say hi. We appreciate you coming in and telling us about yourself, and hopefully, some of us will do a better job about remembering your name when you don't have your name tag on. But those are very helpful. Thank you. Does anybody have questions for Rory?
What was your major at Champlain? Professional writing. Nice. So I can write a mean email.
And a nice one too.
And a nice one. Yeah, and if anyone is wondering more about me, I am from the Boston area. I moved to Vermont for Champlain, moved back to Boston for a little bit, but missed Vermont so much that I came back.
Glad you're back. You can feel free to stay, but I'm guessing Jennifer has a list for you somewhere.
I don't make lists for Rory usually. I try to be hands off about that, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have lists.
Thank you. So you can stay if you'd like, or you're free to go back.
I would love to stay and just observe what you guys are up to. It's
Well,
okay.
great. Okay.
Although, actually, you know what? I should go downstairs and give Logan a break. So.
You can- oh, you can
Nice
sit
meeting
down.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Rory.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Okay, great. So no friends reports. Move right on to the wonderful director's reports.
Did we want to add something to the agenda? Did we do that already?
Oh, we did because I did it backwards.
So my report is as
Thank you.
it stands, but I have a couple of things I wanted to mention. One is, well, part of you covered. Check. So a couple of you said that you would be up for taking on the library presence in the Pride Parade. And if you were thinking that you were going to be talking to Sue about doing a book card drill team, you haven't yet. And so I don't know if she has capacity.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean, well, I haven't thought she had capacity, but she also has said to me that no one's talked to her about it, so I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. So I can let her off the hook. Or you guys can talk to her.
No. I thought that it was like
was-
one step too far for
Okay.
her. But I'm still happy to do it if anybody.
As long as you guys are still on for just
Yeah.
Pride and kind of, or, carrying the banner and doing whatever needs to be done for that. That's great. Then the book card is off the table and I will remind her of that.
But I'm happy to jump in on my cards.
Well, it's, we have to, there's a lot that has to be done. So I think if there's a year where you all want to organize the book cards, let's decide that in October or September so that we can get the wheels and, plus the practice and all that kind of stuff. So that's fine. Great. The other thing is, and I can wait and talk this at the communications meeting, but we may be looking for somebody to help at the Touch a Truck event, and we need to figure out. So I'll talk about that at the communications meeting, but there are going to be some summer opportunities for us to be at recreation, to table at recreation events. We're doing more of it. I'm really excited about it because it's taken a long time to get there, but I think we're making great inroads, working together. And so there will be situations where it's going to be better for us to have two people out in the world. And it would be great if people feel like volunteering to be that second person, if we can do that. So I'll be in touch about that. So those are my comments. Anyone have questions about anything that you've?
Yes, remind me what day is Friday?
I feel like September 8th,
I'll find it.
because I feel like it's like always a day to remember that,
There you go.
and it's a Sunday.
It has been.
Sunday of the kids.
She was the
Holly was furiously Googling.
September 7th.
September.
You
See,
called it.
day before your birthday. Amazing. So no questions for Jennifer, other than that one?
We'll just randomly.
Yeah, the report was really good, Jennifer.
Pardon?
When is that Touch a Truck?
June 14th.
And it's really fun. We
Yeah,
have fun.
and that's usually, so last year was the kickoff of the reading. Is that
So,
gonna maybe be?
Touch a Truck has a tradition of having that event on that day, which is the first Saturday after school gets out. And the library has a tradition, I think that's what that is, or is it the Saturday before school gets out?
The district has made the odd decision to have a half day on Monday the 16th as the last day of school. But many of the summer camps are starting anyway, and children are just gonna skip that last half day. of school. So you can decide whether the 14th is
Gotcha.
the first Saturday or not.
I see. Well, so both of these events were happening in parallel, and we didn't really know it until they started doing it at Marcotte.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, so we talked to them and they're like, no, this is when we do it. I understand, and we, so we actually, this year, we're going to include Touch a Truck on our summer reading publicity as part of the kickoff, and then we're not gonna plan to do anything, because last year we had an author come and there wasn't anybody there, because people were touching trucks. So that's how things are gonna be a little different, is we're gonna include some of their, especially topical, so this year's theme is Color My World or something like that. So anything artsy of theirs, we're gonna put it on our calendar, and then anything, and then they have a few arts events and we're gonna go and be present at those. So it's gonna be interesting, but I think positive. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. So committee reports. Do you have those numbered in a
No,
specific
because
way?
you did not number them on your agenda, so we just.
Can we start with Flood, since we're kind of already doing that?
Yeah, that would be great. Yes, that would be amazing.
Okay, so we're gonna come back to you all with summer dates, when we have more summer dates. But the one that you do need to know, that's coming up this month, is Illuminate. We had the idea to do kind of a display that's a little bit more interactive. Last year we had people hold up signs that were like, this is why I love the library. We're gonna have a big board and people are gonna put post-it notes. And what did we decide the question was gonna be? Favorite book or favorite author or author who inspired you or something like that?
I'm supposed to buy sticky notes, I better get on that.
So we're gonna have people just like write something on a sticky note, put it on the board, and we'll.
Yeah.
So we need people to person the table. We really do need a better transitive verb for that, but we need somebody to be at the table.
Staff the table.
Staff the table, there we go. For that, so the timing is
This is Friday ends.
it's Friday and Saturday on the 25th and 26th.
Yep.
From 5 to 9, 5 to 8:30.
I can help on that Friday.
And that's
I
this
just-
April.
April, yeah, 25th,
That's how the banners.
26th, from 5 to 9.
Yeah.
So we need people to do some of those shifts.
Are you gonna send around,
I'm going to send around a thing for you to sign up, so look out for that. I will send that around, let's say tomorrow.
Okay.
The other thing that there'll be something in the other paper next week about accessibility at the library. Look out for that.
I'm so glad you talked to Kelly, because there were things that she mentioned that I take for granted. I don't even think of them as being affecting accessibility in a positive way. So that was a great.
And Mike.
And Mike too. I knew Mike was.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
gave me a great list. So yeah, so that's coming out, and then we're meeting next week, and we'll have more tasks for you all.
Any questions for Comp Squad? No, okay. Your turn, Margie.
So we worked on, I think we might have mentioned, I'm sorry, I was here the last meeting, that the Vermont Department of Libraries, put out a model policy for collection development and reconsideration materials. So for our last meeting, Anne very kindly put those two documents together, our original policy, which we needed to be updated, and we have gone through it, we're trying to do that periodically with all the policies. And combine that with the different verbiage or different, not just verbiage, but there was some significant changes in the model policy. And we went through each item and we are now delivering this document to you, and I highlighted obviously the changes that we've made to reconcile things that we thought we should add from the model policy to our policy. So this is what we'd like to vote on and have,
I think you just click on the date. Stacy, are you just trying to, yeah, if you just click on that, yeah. I think that's where you'll see.
And just to note that the reconsideration of materials, that the sequence of events is a little different now.
Oh, no, it is opening, but this is, you just said, here's the reconsideration of materials.
What did it say before?
There's a form and there's a policy in the form. So this is the form for folks if they want to request that a book be removed. There's also a separate policy, there it is.
There it is.
Would you be able to summarize? I see what's yellow, but I don't know what was there before.
Right,
Would you be able to summarize
so,
it?
yeah, so we added, so.
Yeah, what's that?
The policy, yeah, so this page, you can, let me look there for 1 second. Oh, most of this is taken from the model policy, and some of that is taken from the statute to, the Civil Rights Act and the Vermont laws prohibiting discrimination, place of public accommodation, that kind of thing. So these are just taken from their model policy, and so is that one, the libraries committed to securing professional services as necessary. And
So the yellow is where we've added something from the state's recommendation.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay,
I think Anne's point is this is also from the statute and the model policy.
Yeah. right.
We can't change the statute.
We can change the statute.
I mean, we could, but.
Nothing was deleted.
So it's all added.
This is added too.
This is
Yeah.
added. Oh, no.
There's some places where we wordsmithed, but
I know, I mean, I have them here, so let's see. For example, on the first page, our policy that we have now online said, our collection reflects factors including but not limited to our community's varying economic, racial, ethnic, and educational backgrounds. And the model policy had a more expansive sentence that kind of replaced that. The diversity of race, ethnicity, sex, gender
Yeah.
identity, social, so disability status. So we took out that our kind of smaller sentence and put in there more inclusive sentence for that. And so if you want to keep going down, this is ours now. So the list. So we looked at they had a similar, what? Yeah, that's right. No, they had a similar list, than as we do in our policy, and we have talked about the differences. The one thing we took out was, let's see, we took out materials that address the library's values, including equity, diversity, respect, and sustainability, because we already have that. And we added one thing that they had, which was the anticipated viability and the longevity of the format. And we figured, yeah, we replaced our phrase, materials that address the library's values, including equity, diversity, respect, and sustainability. We replaced that with both of these two highlighted ones that are together. Alignment with the library's mission and strategic plan, representation by and of diverse individuals and groups. So those are from the model policy. We couldn't really go wrong if we were doing the model policy, but. And let's see, we added something from the policy. The library may provide access to subscription databases, and the library may not have control over what's in them. And be and collection maintenance. We added that sentence. Items withdrawn from the collection will be disposed of in accordance with all applicable laws and municipal policies. That means, but
It's not a book burn.
it's not a book burn. I said we will not burn them. And
I have a question under gifts.
yes,
The last paragraph under gifts refers to monetary gifts. Does there need to be anything about the foundation there? No.
That's a good question. I guess.
We talked about it in, when there's a separate 501c3 and this is the library.
So these are monetary gifts to the library.
Correct. Like if you came in and gave Jennifer a check, which would be different than if you gave it to the foundation.
Jennifer would ask you to give your money to the foundation because that's what we've agreed is the best plan. But if somebody has already written the check or doesn't feel comfortable, then I take it.
And
Follows the same route to the
Mhm.
second path, publicize.
And then I also let the foundation know.
we also removed a little bit under gifts. That was more of the procedure rather than to go under the policy. The library will give a form to donors to fill out for tax purposes. The library can't provide an appraisal. Donations of new items may be used for special recognition at the discretion of the library director. So those are more practice, what the library would do in practice than to put in a policy. Those are not there. This hasn't changed. Access to other library collections has not changed. And then reconsideration of materials, so. This is, let me. What is our part? Should look at.
I think that our part, we got rid of most of our part.
Yeah,
Just because,
Theirs was cleaner.
theirs was cleaner and basically what the state library was saying in their workshops is that the board can decide to have policies that are stricter, but they can't decide to have policies that are looser than what they are recommending. And it just seemed easiest to.
so,
Prudent.
yeah, great.
Well, I just have a question so South Burlington residents, so this is only pertaining to Hyman Winooski.
And you come to this library.
Yes. You want to remove Ann Coulter's Godless book.
I mean, I'll still talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk
That
to you.
is great, you asked, great, that's a great question.
We
We talked about that.
We did talk about that a lot because the model, the Department of Libraries recommends that it's open to everybody. And, I don't know, like, again, it feels very overwhelming to me, and I think there's something to be saying, said for citizens and the taxpayer base, so this is where we landed, but it's definitely part of the debate, so.
Well, we definitely know from like Drag Queen Story Hour, like the people from outside the community will come in and stir up trouble when they're not even right.
They're not, yeah.
Or serially upset communities about what's going on with the library.
So essentially what this says, just to
Yeah.
abbreviate it is, so you're upset with the book.
And
And you live in South Burlington.
You are.
Right, yes, then you come and talk to Jennifer, and if Jennifer doesn't talk you down and resolve your concerns, then you go to the policy, which has this reprinted on it, the form, I'm sorry, you go to the form, which reprints this exactly, kind of explaining what goes on. And so you fill out the form and submit it to the director. The library only looks at one of these requests at a time. The folks suggested at the webinar for the Department of Libraries, people could just pile on and really try to overwhelm you. So one at a time. The item in question stays in circulation. We don't remove it. The director or their delegate. So Jennifer or somebody she delegates this to. Yes, yes.
Jump in,
Yeah.
just to add to, because, and I think this was in our first policy too, it stays in the collection, it doesn't move, like it can't be put into like health instead of picture books. It stays where it's meant to be, top right, decisions made.
Right, no change, right. So, so the director will read or listen to the item. They will read reviews of the item in professional journals when available. They will see if it's been circulated, and they will go back and look at the policy and the bullet points, long bullet points we looked at before, and decide whether or not it meets those criteria. And the director will notify the resident in 21 business days of their decision. If the resident is not happy about that, then they can submit a written appeal to the board in 15 days of getting that letter. And the board will notify the resident when we hear their appeal at one of our regular meetings.
Oh, sorry, the
So what-
resident would come to a meeting?
It's a public
they-
meeting.
They can.
Yeah.
Right, of course, they could,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so the board's vote is the final vote.
Jennifer, do you feel this policy supports what you need to do as a director of the library? Is there anything you need more teeth in it, less teeth, or do you feel it's comfortable for you to do the job?
I think that this does the trick. I think the last time we did it, we made it a little more complicated because we were trying to be, oh, we need more professionals involved and people who aren't part of the library, and this is a whole lot easier. It's so I think it's fine. I certainly would be letting you all know if there was something that I was having to read and review ahead of time, but I think this will do it. And basically it says that whatever the board votes will be the final decision.
Is that a majority vote, or do you have to overcome?
I
assumed it was.
assumed it was a majority vote.
Majority is
too.
how we vote everything else. So
Yeah,
Does that have to be-
It doesn't say unanimous.
I just don't know, do we have to be like 2/3 of us think in order to remove something like that, which is a majority?
And the form includes the procedure here. It also asks where the book is. Have they read the book or listened to the audiobook or whatever it is? What are your concerns? How would you like this to be resolved?
it adds a barcode question, which is so funny because the online conversation, the idea was, well, if you're from Ohio and you're complaining about a book in Florida, you know, you're not gonna know the barcode, so that automatically would, and I'm like, it's on the catalog, right there on the catalog. But sometimes there are situations where somebody might say, I want to ban Treasure Island. And Treasure Island might have an abridged version, they might have an illustrated version. So we decided to keep that, even though it seems a little silly, but it could help.
Well, I also think like, I'm really angry now, and then you write, you know, it's a lot of numbers. Give you a chance to like.
Reasonable.
Too many hurdles.
If that situation came up where they said, like, we want, I don't like the audio version, would it also be considered, would the other formats be considered at the same time?
Not unless they ask that all formats be considered.
And it's a different form for every format? Or can you do a triple book, magazine,
One at a time.
electronic?
One at a
One at a
time,
time.
so I suspect it would be one at a time.
Ooh,
Which I also really appreciate, it does slow things down.
Yeah.
because I mean, obviously, our libraries have been overwhelmed. with,
Yeah.
The number of.
If we don't meet the deadlines, what's the pen, what is the ramification not being? Because anytime there's a specific
Well,
time
21
there,
days.
we may not have a board
Teenager.
meeting in 15
Well,
days.
21 for Jen.
No. I see what you're saying, the board,
It doesn't say there
Does it
within
say-
15, so it said library board, written appeal to the board.
We would
They
notify.
have 15 days.
That's the appeal.
The resident has 15 days.
okay,
Is
that
there
makes
any
more sense.
timelines on our side?
It just-
The only one is the 21 days by which I have to get back to them.
That reasonable?
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, we were intentional not to put anything for the board, because we wanted to know what our next meeting was
Right.
gonna be, yes.
That's fine. Anytime I see timelines,
Ditto.
I can get it.
Yeah, no, good
Great.
motion.
Okay, so obviously I have to do something on it. So, Stacy's giving me the look. So I'd like to put forward a motion that this policy be accepted by the full board. Wait a second. Okay, you have a second? So, no more discussion? No? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Passes unanimously. All right. Thanks, everyone.
We need to do the reconsideration form.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. There were two.
Yes,
two
thank you.
motions.
So I'd also like to make a motion to, approve the reconsideration, format or, form, excuse me, any discussion?
I have one more very small thing, and I'm so sorry for being.
No, this is great.
I know from self-checkout that there's 2 barcodes on a book. Which one do we mean?
Well, do you mean the ISBN?
Like, do you want,
No, you mean, there are 2 barcodes on the book, we want the library barcode.
okay, so
So if
I
we
would
need to
amend
change
this
the words,
to add that.
Okay, yeah,
yep, I guess that is the ISBN
yeah.
on the, yeah, you're right, that's what it is.
Library barcode. For clarity, okay. So I would like to put forward a motion that we accept the, well, the reconsideration form with that change. We have a second,
Sorry,
please.
Cool. oh, I just had a really, sorry, is this an electronic form? Or is this a paper form, and where is it going to?
It will be on our website with our policies.
Okay, so it says who to send it to and all that?
Oh,
Oh,
no, it doesn't.
but yeah, if you go up. It says.
It also doesn't have a title by itself.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah, right, because the whole
This is
thing
the
is.
form.
Yeah.
We can add.
Okay, I'm just kidding.
Is this
The weeds
submitting-
on
submitting
how
it-
it looks.
Am I going-
Oh, this is great, that's.
Just submitting it to the director, but we don't have any means for doing that. Do we want them to print it out and hand it to you, or email it to
Email,
info?
they
Like,
hand
what
it
is
to
the-
you, it's a Dropbox.
Any of those options is fine. We can put my email in there, you know, that just means event, you know, at some point, you're gonna have to change it, but you're changing things anyway. That's
Is it
up
gonna
to
be
you.
a downloadable form?
No, no, it's not.
It'll probably be.
I don't think
It's be a
so.
PDF, and then they just print it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are we trying to add additional steps for the cool down period, or are we trying to make this accessible?
Well, accessible would make it.
Accessible and.
If it's accessible, we should make it a Word document.
Right.
Because if it's a PDF, if they don't have a W, they can't edit it.
Right.
They might not know.
oh, and that's a good point, because I think all of ours are PDF on the website.
Yeah, that's true.
But a PDF makes it screen readable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like.
We could include both.
Okay.
So we want them to email it.
Well, the other thing is though, this person has to talk to someone at the library, me or the children's librarian or whatever. And if they say, you know, and part of that conversation is, okay, so are we good here? No, I'm still upset.
Right.
And then here's your paper form is one way to do it,
Don't
or I
lose
can
it.
send it to them as in an email, if that's easier for them. So I think that we don't have to build all that in.
We need to try. As these come in, if they come in, we need to have our thousand.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. We have to keep them. I have a folder, but.
So none of this
Fortunately, it's very
existed
empty so
until
far.
today, there was never,
There's one, right.
there is a
one now, yes.
form of some kind
Yes,
that
right,
yes.
has been used.
Yes.
But not, you haven't been deluged.
Thank goodness.
Okay, no, good, I just don't understand that, like, I remember a long time ago when I first started, when,
That was the.
That was-
That was,
stuff.
yes.
yes, but that was like the last I
There's some
kinda really heard about.
There's some small libraries who don't have a policy, or did not have a policy at all, and that's why, that's the
Wanna
model
be
policy
protected,
from
yeah.
Vermont. And so.
Nice, okay, good, thanks.
Sorry, I have a slight emergency.
You still have to take a vote on the motion.
Yeah. I'm-
Okay.
But you don't have to, but Whitney has seconded it.
All those in
Edits.
favor?
All those in favor?
With edits,
say aye.
including some sort of
Thank you.
routing. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent.
Also, just quickly for the governance, last time we talked about changing the age ranges in the policies, and so I met with Jennifer and we went over all the policies. I'm gonna make a thing. I'm just gonna make a thing.
Love the thing.
I'm going to
And that
go
one,
through
I
them.
think we'll have to bring to this group with the changes visible.
Yes.
Or
Yes,
or
yes,
something,
definitely.
or maybe
Yes.
we, yeah, I don't,
Yes, I'll figure it out.
because that's a lot of small
lot.
pieces in a lot of places.
Yes, and a lot of numbers, so anyway.
Great. Thank you, Margie.
Is it?
This is
That
good
was a
work.
lot.
Good
Nice
work.
job. Head finance?
Have not met, there is, as I alluded to earlier, here, there is one thing that we'll probably use a finance committee to discuss with the board is old debt. There is a long list of old debts that are on the books currently. And Rory has been looking at that and has posed some approach to forgive old debts. So the concept would be after a certain time, a debt would be forgiven and the person could re-access the library. we have changed our fees and all that structure, so now really it's only lost books are really the newest, really the only fee that's out there right now, correct?
Right,
So all the old previous ones, our older debts were probably from overdue fees and some stuff as well in there. So we had a lot of cleaning up to do on that debt. So.
that's part of it. I think a lot of it is lost book. That's,
But it's
yeah.
gonna sit there mostly, and then question then becomes, is there a certain amount of time that we forgive a debt and allow a person to re-access library services? So we'll get the finance committee to get that, we'll sit down with Rory, since she's been spearheading it.
Yeah.
It's an important issue for the circulation group, I think, to help streamline
Yeah,
the
yeah.
process more efficient.
I think efficiency is a big part of his move. to
So
bring
you
it
can all start
forward.
thinking about if you have any specific concerns about the idea of forgiving debt over a period of time, we can be prepared to discuss that, but in the next couple of months, we'll try and finalize that.
Do you have a sense of how much?
Yeah, she came together and said, if we forgive after 5 years, she said, we'd be waiving about $3,500 more than debt. There's currently,
But that's
50
after 5
there's
years.
about $9,769 since 2003 that's on the books, and I don't know how many people.
Right, I say that money.
There's about 250 million people
But
who
right
have
there.
sort of debt that are no longer accessible to libraries.
Mhm.
So it's a balancing of accessibility,
Yeah.
forgiven, and if you just wait it out, all those things we just got to use.
And staff time, because there's some administrative pieces that are a pain. with
So it's a
that.
very good topic that the staff has brought forward. We as finance departments, we look through the financial side, come up with policy, and then we as a board needs to discuss the concepts of it. So we can go, we have a minute discussion on now, or just think about it. And when we come as finance, we can discuss it more. That's it, and Jennifer, I appreciate we're bringing that forward and follow the guidance of William Mark, not one, but.
All good.
Excellent. Okay, so then, foundation updates.
For tomorrow, we've mentioned the third time.
There we go.
4:30 to 6:30. I'm getting volunteers. We have $120,000 in the bank. That's at the end of February. And we've had 18,000 in donations so far this fiscal year. Steve?
Is that good?
That was almost,
It's-
the budget was about 19-ish,
Yeah.
so we're almost.
So we
right
may
in line
even get
budget. That's probably by the end of the fiscal year, we'll cover it in.
Right.
Expenses have been.
Pass on that tomorrow.
No, someone has that. It's a thank you for donors. It's not a pass I had.
But you can give another.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's-
And for all three,
Yeah. And we're going to do a small spring appeal to people who didn't give this fiscal year, but who have given in the past 2 years.
Okay.
It's not, isn't it next month we're gonna bring this like?
Yes, we're gonna bring, yes, we're gonna approve the next slate of board members for the foundation board members at the April 21st meeting. To present to our next meeting, our board of trustees. Nominated.
There's been some turnover in.
Did you get some response?
Yeah, we actually got a lot of really, like, volunteers who are like, oh yeah, I have experience in the following 8 things. And I'm like,
You're like, you're hired. Oh, it's volunteer. But
Yeah,
yeah.
came to the meeting.
Yeah.
Foundation
So
board meeting.
I appreciate everybody putting flags.
Yeah.
Great.
And Ann and John Kalaki and I met yesterday to talk about grants and sponsorships and whatever, that category. But what was really fun is Adam came from the recreation department to give us kind of a half-hour overview of sponsorships and how he does it and who he talks to. And he clarified that he's not at all worried about competition, that these companies, particularly banks, he said several times, they have money, they need to give it to the community. It is not something to worry about, which in the past we had gotten a different message about. So, but he gave us, anyway, it was very fruitful.
Nice.
Oh, I forgot to tell you something in my report. I'm sorry. Helen Kendall, so yes, she's leaving on Tuesday, but as a surprise twist to the story, She is going to work for the clerk's office.
Just
Right there.
She will be our neighbor. And she's starting, I don't know, April 30th or something in a new job, so it'll be a change for her. But she gets to maintain whatever, you know, working in the city benefits and stuff like that.
That's nice.
So, yeah.
How fun.
You can do that, I have to tell you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Anne, and the foundation. So now we just are going back to the additional agenda item that I tried to wave under the rug, but we're going to. I know, I'm sorry. So as the chair, I do like to present things as a group. When Jennifer asked, would you like to sign this? I definitely don't want to sign something on behalf of the trustees, which is why I sent it out to everybody. And then as I was rereading it and talking to my favorite lawyer, I was like, oh, this is making me. So I would love to have discussion about it now.
Because I'm all in, obviously, but what are your concerns about?
Oh, well, I mean, I think we could find another venue that is more library specific. Because I feel like it is not in our purview to opine about abortion access. And I mean, some of the other things I think are relevant, but I think it's a little bit broader. I mean, I looked at, I don't know, I pulled out like strategic plan for, and I mean, it's not, yeah, like the board responsibilities are to review the bylaws, to look at our policies, strategic planning and long range planning for the library, to work with Jennifer to establish the budget. Be a champion for the library is one of them, but I feel like this letter is beyond our scope.
Well, is there, do we feel the need as a board in the library to issue some statement on the current environment that's in the purview of our charter and our mission? Is that something we would be interested in constructing?
Yeah, and specifically maybe about, you know, the interlibrary loan, I mean.
Yeah.
What we do, and
things
what we
that-
have responsibilities for,
Yeah.
what it stays, should we say something, right?
Of the library.
Emphasize that to the community as a core principle. Emphasize.
And I just want to
Take it.
quickly,
Not necessarily.
sorry, and I want to go back because Jennifer just reminded me, thank you, that we're being recorded. So this conversation is based on the open letter that ACLU Vermont brought to a group of people, a March 31st letter that was addressed to Governor Scott and Vermont state legislators, speaking of different things for us to advocate about. So that's what we're discussing right now. And then
And there's several signatories that they've updated it yesterday online, and there are several libraries that have signed, but no boards of trustees of libraries.
Would we know if they were boards of trustees, or would they just listed as a library?
I think it's listed as library. I think if we signed something, it seems unlikely they would have listed itself, the library.
right, I think if we signed it, it would be from the library board of trustees as our group. But I do, as several people have said, having a conversation about writing something more specific to advocate for.
Well, one of the things I was gonna bring to the communications meeting next week was that the public is asking for information and for what can we do? And,
It'd be a library.
what'd you say?
Vermont Library Association. Did you see the Vermont Library Association was on here?
I think I knew that, yes.
I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, I think that, you know, I've got some information and most of it I try to send to you, but we can try to pull something together. If the board thinks that this is appropriate for them to do, or if not, the staff can do, is pulling together some information about the IMLS piece, and then also maybe pulling from the, every library. I know I sent something out about sign a petition or raise all these things you can do. So I could pull from that either I or the library board jointly can, create something that we can hand out to people when because they want information. So that was something I was gonna bring up to communication. So it's good if this group can decide now if that's something that it makes sense for me to do with the staff, or whether the board wants to be involved with it too.
So I guess, can you clarify a little bit, because my own ignorance, like the difference between having the library sign it and having the library board of trustees sign it, like.
Well, so if, you mean signing this particular letter? Yeah, so, when I got it, I talked to the city attorney. And the city attorney's concern is that I am a city, no, I'm not, and I am. That by my signing something as the library, that I am, that there's an implication that the city of South Burlington also is supporting it. And so that's when I said, well, I'll send it out to you and see what you think. Is that not true for us?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't ask at the time. I wasn't thinking about you all. I was just, and then Stacy was gonna talk to.
And I haven't gotten to Jared yet to find out what the thoughts were there as well. So that is something that I could still do just to see what he says, but I have a feeling, and it's only a feeling because I'm not a lawyer, but he may say because we are appointed by the city, it's the same.
Do you think it's the same? Yeah.
But I'm not the, and all of no equals.
No, you are providing just guidance.
But we are chartered independent. City control, right, rather than the appointments are governed by the city, but what we deem and what we pass as policies.
Right,
is
governance,
independent.
I know, that's true.
So we have the ability inside our governance realm to create something as part of our governance structure to comment on this if we decide as a board we want to do that.
Right, but it would have to be like.
If we
all of
ask
us,
Jared, he
right?
might say no,
Or
but the
all
board
or
still
nothing
might be
as
able
a
to
board.
do it.
And then if we
anyway.
can decide if we want to push that, I would
Yeah.
obviously ask Jared for some counsel, but in
Yeah.
theory, we are governance independent of the city.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But
I
I
guess
do think endorsing something this broad with having more implications than what we are governed to do is a concern from mine. Is that we should stick to what's in our scope. Which is inclusion, which is all those things that we can do that. Right, we know it's in our mission statement and all that
Right.
stuff. We craft something that supports our mission as a re-emphasis in the environment we're in. I don't see where that's.
And I love the idea of making it also an informational document to let people know, like the interlibrary loan, we put you explain, the interlibrary loan system is.
Oh my God.
There's a platform now to speak up as an advocate for the library in this context, if we decide we want to tread in water, right? Because
Yeah.
the climate, the heat's a little hot right now.
Mhm.
To try
It's
to-
done in the executive order, so.
Correct, so.
It exists.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's out, there. Do we want to get into that? We have to be pretty, I would think, precise about our navigation of that. But it could also be very effective. But it has to me, it has to be library missions, and that ACLU is not, it's
It's
not.
much more broad, yeah.
Well, we should definitely do something.
Yes.
I'm hearing from the board, we should talk about it here, as well as
Yes,
getting a
yes.
feel for it. I don't, and that may be Jared, that may be governance or
Well-
something to try and come up with that.
Well, I
I
think
keep it simple.
But that, yeah, okay.
And if we're going more library specific, I wonder if we even need to ask for Jared's counsel. I was
No.
going for this more broad thing, but I think if we're doing something specific with our group, I think we should do that. If people are comfortable, go ahead.
So my sense
Oh,
of it
yeah,
is that
there's
we're
tons of
all,
stuff.
I mean, if you take a quick vote, do we want to pursue writing something that we feel comfortable signing that's information specific and library specific that we can put forward? You know,
I'm all for exploring that and getting in deeper. When we get to the final signature, I think that's when we may have to make sure we're not.
absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause
Check
if the next,
whether
I mean,
he's
we
a
got, we were a library board is different than that.
There are first drafts and then there are, you
Thanks.
know, outside.
So I think if some of us, if we're saying, let's pursue, at least have the conversation. I think it also makes sense to have a little time to figure out if people are comfortable with it or not. But going ahead and trying to put something together in the next month before our meeting might be helpful. Yes.
I think it would be really difficult to decide what you're comfortable with if we don't have a draft.
Right.
Yeah. So,
So I'm, for me, as far as providing information to the public, I am not waiting a month. This has to happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
So I can bring something to the communications group to see, and we can kind of cobble something together while we're together, or I can bring something there. And then if the communications group wants to, like you, pull some verbiage from this letter that seems particularly relevant to libraries, we could do that. And I can just put it out from the library. And that might be the best plan, because there are people that have, that are gonna, that this could cause problems for, is what I'm hearing. So we could do that, but I could do it.
Sorry, what is it?
Just if you have in your family a federal employee that there could be some repercussions if your name or the board that you are on today is on the document right now.
Bring your selections to the circulation desk for a checkout.
So
New library cards will not be issued after 6:45, and public computers will also shut off at that time. Thank you for visiting the library. We'll be open tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
So I can bring it to communications next time, and we'll see, because what will be helpful is if we can agree on something just in general, like, yeah, this is something important, we need to get the word out. Then it's a matter of, okay, what pieces are we gonna pull for social media? What pieces are we gonna pull for the new, for the website or whatever?
Can you explain your sense of urgency? You're saying that you.
Yeah.
Can you give me a feel for what you're feeling?
Sure.
why it needs to be?
So it happened recently. The funding, the people being laid off, all that happened recently. The 5501 marches happened recently. People are primed to take action. And so they're also primed to find out what they should take action on. And I am not in a position to tell them, you should do this, this, and this, but I could be in a position to inform them about what's impacted, and here are some possible things.
So based off your temperature in the room,
Yeah.
your climate sensing, you need something from this board reasonably quick to help a community concern that you're hearing on a daily basis.
I need something, and it could be from me.
Right, but we need.
It doesn't necessarily need to be from the board. This is just kind of a segue from this letter.
But you would that be perceived more as a city employee or you as a library?
It doesn't, I don't think that there's a problem with me as a city employee giving information.
Providing the facts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here's the website where you can go.
Providing facts, not.
right. If the board wants to write an editorial, then that's on the board, and you're right, this is not gonna be ending anytime soon, so it might be that taking it to the communications group, they'll be like, okay, this is gonna be multi-phase, and let's consider these.
And for the factual side, do you need anything from us from the factual side?
No.
So then are the board, if it's fact-based, we're saying we support you,
Right.
You're good to go, is what we're saying.
No, yeah, it's whether people wanna help me craft it, whether they, how people might help.
I just wanna make sure we're not holding you up.
No,
Either.
no.
If it's
No.
fact-based,
No.
that's great, if it's
Yeah.
opinion or editorial,
That,
there's still a need for.
yeah, that piece that's something different, and that could be in a month or more, or that could be part of a bigger.
So I'm okay, if you're comfortable with the
Yeah.
facts.
Okay.
So what do you want us to do next week?
I'll bring it to you next week and I'll just show you what I'm thinking and then we can talk about, what is that thing that's on the agenda every time? Opportunities for amplification.
Good job.
Yeah,
And if you're free next Thursday, you're welcome to join us.
yeah.
I know you're always ready to join us.
Yeah, I love
It's same time on Thursday next week.
Thursday, what number, give me a number day?
17th.
17th.
Feel like joining.
ALA has really good stuff.
Yeah,
What's on?
yeah, we'll definitely.
They even have a chart of like by state, how much money is received from the institute.
So just to close that, we're not voting, but saying we're comfortable with factual information, supporting Jennifer in that, going to Comm Squad. Next month, coming back with some information and potentially a draft of something we might want to speak to more
Who's gonna write something by next month?
by next month. Margie is.
Margie's
That's different than what.
That's
Jennifer
different.
wants
That's
to get.
different than
Okay.
Jennifer's. This is more of a,
Yeah, we're gonna sit on that for 2 hours.
Okay.
Give a lot to my husband.
That email. Pause. Pause.
love it.
I think it'd be great for you to bring something next month for us to talk about and.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, I'll, yeah, we'll
Okay.
send something out when I'm traveling. Actually, needs to send it.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a quick question, sidebar, because I haven't heard this. Did you say ILL is impacted by? wage cuts?
I'm sorry, yes, I have not talked to you about what's impacted because I'm living it and I forget that I need to inform, so. The big categories of things that are funded through IMLS money are ILL. The able interlibrary loan, sorry. The able library for the blind and physically impaired.
I put, the
Accessibility.
first draft, I put a thing about how it was under, but then I decided that complicated and too much, and I was just gonna leave it out for now.
Yeah.
But.
Okay, I think I'm gonna see that draft. 1, 2, the Gale resources that. So if you don't know where to find facts. Then the Gale resources is a place to go, and if it's gone, then that really is affecting things in a big way.
And that's
I mean, what are facts at this point?
GALE. And then staff training, both just being a hub for information about available training, and also they offer directly the certification program for library staff. Which many libraries, including us, have used instead of an MLS because we don't have a library school in Vermont, although people go online. Those are the biggies. And so what we hear is that there are 2 people on the staff, the librarian and their assistant, the assistant administrative assistant, that are paid for with state money. So that means potentially that the other 7 or so people at the Department of Libraries are paid with federal funds. And they are the ones who do all these things in addition. So there's the money for the actual resources, and then there's the. So what I expect to have more information on before next time is what I suspect is going to happen, and I will be reaching out to see about this, is that if this happens, it really happens this way, that the large libraries are going to have to get together and talk about how can we keep things going. Because not to have interlibrary loan for the state is insane. And it isn't, it is, Logan said that yesterday at our staff meeting, they said, well, we have 80 items out right now, today, we have 80 items out on interlibrary law. That doesn't include what we have coming in, that wasn't a number that they brought. But, so we give out more than we take in, but still, there's somebody who's doing some research, they want a book from the 1960s. Okay, we'll get it for you, for whatever you're doing, but but both that and the Able Library, I mean, I'm not gonna start teaching classes for the certification. I don't, but the Gale, the ILL and the Able Library are across the board, major problems, and I think that we're gonna have to look at the greater good. It's not gonna be enough for South Burlington to just pay for its part in our own little microcosm.
Wondering this is gonna impact UVM too, because their resources, but. What about the digital learning learner? Living.
Libby is maintained, administered by the Green Mountain Library Consortium. I don't know that there's I'm not sure about the funding for that. I know we all pay into it, but I don't know if there's some matching funding from the feds that I'm aware of.
I'm just gonna end up our tier report.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I can't believe I didn't talk about it. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you. Is there any other business, any happy business?
I know.
One more question about.
Oh, sorry.
Does the endowment for the humanities cuts affect the library now? Or not directly?
No, there isn't and as far as cash goes, I'll get to that question too, but as far as cash goes, we get under $1,000 in grants from the state that are from federal funds.
Okay.
Just so you know, as far as cash, it's closer to 800, but it might vary from year to year. Humanities Council, it is not direct funding. It's just. We use their resources. It's just the same thing. We use their resources, whether it's their Rhodes Scholars or their all the different speakers, or they do programs in our location for the state. And it's so devastating. And yeah, but it's not direct funding.
Okay, I'm about to adjourn us at 6:42. We're a little long today. Thanks, everybody.
Yes.